Taigen, you're muted.
Can you hear me
You should be
now?
okay now.
Okay, I was not able to unmute. So, Wendy Johnson, wow, thank you for that introduction. Wendy and I lived together at Green Gulch. She was the garden goddess of Green Gulch Farm. And anyway, it's a pleasure to be here with all of you. I saw a number of old friends and many more who I don't know, but I want to talk tonight, about one of my very favorite songs. It's the song of the Jewel Mara Samadhi, attributed to Dongshan, the founder of Soto Zen, or Dong in Chinese. And I'm going to take the liberty of referring to my translation in just This Is It. I know it's a little different from the translation you use at Upaya, and I may get into talking about translation, but I want to focus on the two main passages in this song. And I'll maybe mention a few others, but the most important is the very first line. The Dharma of suchness is intimately transmitted by Buddhas and ancestors. Now you have it, preserve it well. So I think the Upaya translation says thusness, suchness, thusness, two fine acceptable translations of ta ta ta, which is the Sanskrit word. I like saying that, ta ta ta. Anyway, the Dharma of suchness is intimately conveyed or entrusted. It's not actually the character for transmission like Dharma transmission, but this is what is conveyed by all Buddhists and ancestors. This reality or teaching, this Dharma of suchness. So the whole long song of the Jewel Mara Samadhi is a commentary on the Dharma of suchness. When it may say it, a little further down it says it is a standard for all things. Its use removes all suffering. That's referring back to the Dharma of suchness. What is this suchness? It's things as it is, as Suzuki Roshi said. It's just this. It's what is in front of us now and always. The Dharma of suchness is intimately conveyed by Buddhists and ancestors. Now you have it, preserve it well. So this refers to a story about Dongshan and his teacher Yunyan, which I'll come back to. But initially, this text, was a transmission text in Chinese Soto, Dong, it's called in Chinese. And it wasn't shared. It was kind of a secret text. It was only for people who had transmission, Dharma transmission or teacher authorization. But at some point, I think maybe in the 1600s in Japan, it started to be part of the liturgy. So now we chant it, and it says, now you have it, preserve it well. This is a powerful statement. Now, each one of you has it. This is not something to figure out or discover or have some special experience of. It's something that is always here. It's on your seat right now. This reality of suchness or thusness or ta ta ta. Now you have it, preserve it well. So again, I'll come back to Dongshan's teacher and how he said this, but for all of us now, how this whole song is about how do we take care of this teaching and reality and lineage of just this, of suchness. So here we are in this strange country of, well, the Americas, and this was written, Dongshan died in 869, so this was written sometime in the early 9th century. But it's always been here, this Dharma of suchness, this teaching, this reality, this deep fog, deep cloud, deep pool of suchness that is always here. But it's not just enough that it's always here. Now you have it. Preserve it well. So I could say that the whole rest of the song is also a commentary on this preserve it well. How do we take care of this reality of suchness? This is the heart of our practice. How do we meet this, just this, on our cushion or seat during Zazen, but also as we walk through our lives in the world? How do we take care of this deep reality of suchness? So I could say also that this whole song is about how to preserve it well, how to take care of suchness, how to take care of this teaching and reality of suchness. So these first two lines are central to the whole poem, to the whole song. By the way, this in Chinese is called Hokkyo Zamaika, is the Sino-Japanese. It's designated as a song coming from the 9th century. We still have the lyrics, but the melody's been lost. They didn't have tape recorders back then. So I wanted to say, if any of you are musicians or composers and you want to write a tune for this song, send it to me. I want to hear it. Anyway, now you have it. How do we take care of it? The next key line is halfway through the first page, the first, maybe it's a quarter of the way through. It's like facing a jewel mirror, form and reflection behold each other. You are not it, but in truth, it is you. Actually, it is you. If you just remember one thing from this song, you are not it, it actually is you. This is very deep teaching. In the Upaya version, it says, you are not it, yet it is you. So this goes back to a story about Dongshan. So Dongshan was about to leave his teacher, Yunyan. And he went to his teacher and he said, if somebody asks me later on, what was your essential teaching? What should I say? And Yunyan paused. And after a while, he said, just this is it. Just this is it. And Dongshan didn't know what to say about that. What would you say? Anyway, he got up and he left and he was going out on pilgrimage. And soon after leaving Yunyan's monastery, he was wading across a stream and he looked down and saw his reflection and suddenly realized. So he saw, I am not this, but it actually is me. And after that experience, he wrote a poem. For those who want to look it up later, it's on page 34 of Just This Is It. Dongshan's poem was, just don't seek from others or you will be far estranged from self. Now I go on alone. Everywhere I meet it. Everywhere I meet it. It now is me. I now am not it. One must understand in this way to merge with suchness. It now is me. I now am not it. In the Jewel Mirror Samadhi, it says, it uses the pronoun you, and I won't talk more about pronouns, but you are not it, but in truth it is you. This is, again, just remember that line, and that's in some ways all of Zen. You are not it, but in truth it is you. Actually, it is you. So he saw that he wasn't the same as his reflection in the stream, but that it actually was him. Later on, in the 13th century in Japan, Dogen, who many of you know, wrote an essay called Genjo Koan, Actualizing the Fundamental Truth. There, Dogen said, to carry the self forward to experience myriad things is delusion. That's you are not it. When myriad things come forth and experience themselves, that's awakening. That's, it actually is you. So the myriad things, everything arising together, we're included in that. It's not somewhere out there on some picture somewhere or something. You are not it. It actually is you. So Dongshan went on in his pilgrimage, so this dynamic, you are not it, it truly is you, is one of the major themes of this song, this wonderful song of the Jewel Mara Samadhi. And I could identify 5 major themes. So one is just the Dharma of suchness itself. How do we take care of it? So the Song of the Jewel Mara Samadhi in some ways is a very poetic instruction manual in how to take care of this reality, this tenderness of suchness, of the reality of our lives, the reality of all our lives. So that's one theme. The second theme is what starts to unfold in You Are Not It, It Truly Is You. This is the 5-fold interrelationship between, there's different words for it. I like ultimate and particular, or universal and phenomenal, or sometimes it's translated as absolute and relative. And this is really kind of an aesthetic thing, but I don't prefer that absolute and relative. It feels to me a little theoretical and Western philosophical, but maybe that's just me. Literally, in the poem, it's the upright and inclined. So as Zen students, we know about sitting upright, but also we know about inclined. How do we reach out to share our practice with others? So the integration between these two, we could say these two aspects of reality, the universal reality and the particular phenomenal reality, the conventional reality and the ultimate reality, is one of the main themes of this song. And this song exposes a 5-fold interaction between them, which is the basis of the 5 degrees or 5 ranks teaching, which is also attributed to Dongshan, although it got unpacked over centuries in China and Japan. The last chapter of Just This is about that. But it sort of springs from this song of the Jewel Mara Samadhi. So I'll come back to this. And it's right there, and you are not it, it actually is you. It's what is the relationship between our, you could say, personal self and ultimate self, or everything. The Dharmakaya Buddha, the Buddha who is the whole phenomenal universe. We're included in that, but we're not it. So somehow there's this 5-fold interaction between these two and how they integrate. And there's a lot of 5s in this song, which are kind of metaphors for that. So that's a huge study in itself, these 5 degrees. But it's about the integration of our experience of the ultimate or the universal and our particular expression of it, each of us in our own way, in our own lives, in our own body, mind, heart. How does that work? So in a lot of ways, Zen is not about reaching the ultimate. We do get in Zazen, if you do it long enough anyway, you get some taste of ultimate universal reality. It's like out of the corner of our eyes, it's there. And we may have some dramatic experience of it, or we may have some great intellectual understanding of it. But that's That's just the starting point of practice, actually. The point is, how do we integrate that with our own life in the world and with our own life in this difficult world? I just want to share something. I'll come back to, I only got to 2 of the 5 main themes, but I was talking in my Sangha yesterday about January 6th and how difficult things are now. And I cited something that I heard from Joanna Macy, but I think it's out there, that there are bodhisattvas in many world systems who are lined up just waiting for the chance to get born in this world at this time. We are very fortunate as bodhisattva practitioners to be here now in this difficult world with climate damage and white supremacy terrorists and COVID pandemic and anyway, and the ongoing threat from January 6th. All of that stuff and more, and all of that stuff in our own personal lives, in our own bodies. It's very challenging, but here we are. You are not it actually is you. So this interaction and how we integrate our sense of the ultimate with our personal expression of it, with our particular awareness of the phenomena. This is about the integration of nirvana and samsara also. Anyway, okay, that's the second of the main themes of this song, this wonderful song. The third is the teacher-student relationship. It's about teaching and teachers. So now I have to come back and talk about pronouns. So the basic story about Dongshan and Yunyan, Yunyan said when he was asked by Dongshan, what is your teacher? What is the essence of your teaching? If someone asks me later on. And he said, just this is it. But in Chinese, the pronouns are tricky. And that's part of why there are numbers of good translations of some of these things. And they're a matter of interpretation. But the pronoun for it in just this is it could also be just this person. It could be a personal pronoun. So this, and it carries over to you are not it, it actually is you. That could be read as you are not her, she actually is you, about your teacher. So there's more than that in this song that has to do with the teaching and how it's conveyed. Again, that's the basic part of the first line, preserve it well. How do we take care of this? And that this Dharma, this reality, this teaching of suchness, of this, just this, is intimately conveyed and trusted, transmitted by Buddhas and ancestors. And now you have it, each one of you. Since you've heard that line, now it's your problem. How will you take care of it in your life, in your way? And there's not one right way to do it. We each have our own expression. Can you hear me okay? My internet connection says it's unstable. I may have to change connections. But anyway, hopefully this will be fine. How do we take care of this? So throughout this song of the Jewel Mare Samadhi, there are references to as well as references to suchness and how to take care of it, and to this interaction, fivefold interaction between the ultimate and the particular. There's also instructions about teaching and teacher students and how to take care of that. So that's the third. The fourth main theme of this song is language. How do we use language? So there's a lot about that in here. It says, the meaning does not reside in the words, but a pivotal moment brings it forth. How does the Upaya version say it? The meaning is not in the words, yet one pivotal instant can reveal it. So this is a complicated line. As I was saying, the Chinese characters with which this is written, a lot of them have many overtones. So again, the meaning is not in the words. Don't rely on words and letters as a Zen axiom. It doesn't mean we ignore words and letters. It just means don't be caught by them. Don't be caught by one expression. A pivotal moment brings it forth. This is, the character here is key in Sino-Japanese. And it means many things. It could mean pivot. It could mean a question. It could mean the arrival of energy. It could mean the inquiring student. It's been translated in all those ways. So a pivotal moment, or the arousing of energy by you or by the student with the teacher in this interaction, or just by questioning, brings it forth, even though it's not, the meaning isn't in the words. It says in the next, a little bit after that, just to portray it in literary form is to stain it with defilements. So it's not about fancy words or fancy poetry. So those of us who are writers, and we can get excited by the words that come forth, but it's not any particular words, but there's something that the words can inspire, which is why we have the koan literature, which are they're not, so just to say koans and teaching stories are not riddles to solve. They are teaching stories that we can, that we never finish with, that can get into our bones and show us aspects of our own practice. So even though the meaning is not in the words, there are these pivotal moments where it's revealed, where it's brought forth. There are many other lines in here that are about how to use language and how not to be caught by language, and the limitations of language. And baby talk, baba wawa, is anything said or not? Well, you have to be there. It's like those koan stories. They're not philosophical problems. They are dramatic scenes. So you have to imagine the people that are there. And I'd like to try and see who I would cast in those stories. Which character does Denzel play? Which character does De Niro play, or whomever? Which character is Meryl Streep? Anyway, so you have to be there to understand what's going on in those stories, or not to understand. It's not about understanding. It's about play. It's about how do we play with these expressions? How do we playfully express in the phenomenal world this ultimate, this universal, this Dharma of suchness, this deep reality. So that's the fourth major theme, I would say, in this wonderful song. And the fifth is just how do we the revival of energy. In the 6 paramitas or the 10 paramitas, if you do those, one of them is energy, enthusiasm, virya in Sanskrit. How do we take care of our energy? This is a very real practical problem, especially for those of us who are activists and can get caught with trying to take care of everything. My mantra these days is I can't do everything. I can't. I rely on all of you. Wendy will take care of it if I can't. So, yeah, here we are. But how do we take care of our energy? So, so there's a number of other lines that I want to talk about besides the 2 most important lines. The Dharma of suchness is intimately conveyed by Buddhas and ancestors. Now you have it. Preserve it well. Take good care of it. And facing a jeweled mirror, form and reflection, or form and image, behold each other. You are not it, but truly it is you. that pivot, that dynamic situation. But there are other wonderful lines in here that are helpful in terms of actually seeing how all this works. One of them is the wooden man starts to sing, the stone woman gets up dancing. Wonderful image. It is not, the next line, it is not reached by feelings or consciousness. How could it involve deliberation? The wooden man starts to sing. The stone woman gets up and dances. There's a lot of images and a lot of lines from Zen are about this. So we sit upright and still in the Zendo in Sesshin. And if somebody walked into your Zendo in the middle of Sesshin, they would see all these people sitting very sternly facing the wall. It looks like, it could look like robots or Zen zombies or something, but actually, in the middle of that, there's the wooden man singing, the stone woman dancing. How does energy get aroused from that stillness and settledness? So in the Platform Sutra, the sixth ancestor talks about the oneness of samadhi and prajna. Right in the settledness of intense meditative stability, insights arise, prajna. I know that from my experience when I'm in the middle of writing books. There's now 10 of them, Wendy, not 5, but anyway. Sometimes right in the middle of Zazen, a whole paragraph will arise, or maybe just a couple lines. And where does that come from? Dylan said in his early work that it just sort of came to him, and he wrote "Blowing in the Wind" in 15 minutes. Maybe so. I know since then he's worked very hard on revising his songs. But anyway, the wooden man starts to sing, the stone woman gets up dancing. There are many images like this in Zen. For example, a dragon howls in a withered tree. I like that since my song is called Ancient Dragon Zen Gate. Please check out ancientdragon.org if you want to come to our Zooms. You're welcome, everyone. A dragon howls, or sometimes it's translated as hums, in a withered tree. Another related image is the plum blossoms on the same withered branch as last year. Maybe Wendy can appreciate that in terms of the agricultural image there. So many, many images about how energy arises. This is also the province of this Dharma of suchness. So I know we're going to have a time for some discussion tomorrow morning. I'm looking forward to that. Some of you will be there. I'm going to mention a few other lines that I really like. One of them is when led by inverted views, deluded people take black for white. When inverted thinking stops, the affirming mind naturally accords. So this is a wonderful image too. You can see how it is in the I can't find it anyway. Oh, in the Upaya version, it's the natural mind reveals itself. Sure. So the affirming mind, the accepting heart, the heart of acceptance, is naturally revealed. It accords with suchness. So this is when we let go of our upside down thinking. And of course, we're all caught by that. We're all trained in consumerism and, to see the world as dead objects that we can manipulate and exploit. But when we turn around and see that the world is actually very much alive, all of it, our accepting heart, our affirming mind is in accord. So there's so many wonderful lines in this song. So I want to come back to this way in which the world is alive, but I'll just mention one other line. It's sort of near the bottom of the first page in my translation. Wondrously embraced within the real, drumming and singing begin together. I think you also have drumming and singing in the Upaya version. There's lots of different ways to translate that, though. Yeah, drumming and singing go together. The Chinese characters there could be read in many different ways. It could be question and response come up together. So, Zen is about asking questions. And it's not about asking questions to get some answer. That's not the point. How do we hear some response? And then what are the new questions that come up from that? Drumming and singing begin together. Questions and response come up together. So of course, the wooden man and stone woman, there's drumming and singing and dancing. Those characters could also be read as hitting and yelling, like slapping somebody and they scream, ah! Those two characters could be read that way too. So partly this is so one of the aspects of this wonderful song is that it's talking about the dynamics of suchness and how we take care of it. And, the plum blossoming on the same withered branch as last year, or the wooden man singing and the stone woman dancing, is an image of vitality and liveliness, and seeing the world not as dead objects, but as alive. Of course, earth, grasses, and trees, fences and walls, tiles and pebbles, as Dogen says, all integrate with our practice. It's not just the earth, grasses, and trees, though. It's what we think of as inanimate objects are also like that. There's a wonderful new book from Ruth Ozeki called The Book of Form and Emptiness. She talks about that a lot. But also, maybe you all know about forests. Wendy knows this, that forests are alive and intelligent. They've just, scientists have just described how the mycorrhizal undergrowth below forests work. So this is related to fungi, and I recommend the movie Fantastic Fungi, but related to mushrooms. But underneath forests, there are these mycorrhizal networks, and trees from different species of trees even, will share information with each other and share nutrients with each other. So the whole forest biosystem is alive and intelligent, not necessarily, in terms of how humans judge intelligence, in terms of our subject, verb, object, linear kind of way of thinking about things, but the whole environment is alive and intelligent and relating to us. So that's also part of what is in this song. How do we see the world as alive and as a resource, not to exploit and mine for its minerals or oil, but as a resource of liveliness, awakeness. So there are more things I could talk about in the Hokyo Zamaika, the song of the precious or jewel mirror samadhi. Let me see if there's other lines I wanted to highlight. Oh yeah, like whether teachings and approaches are mastered or not, reality constantly flows. This suchness is still happening everywhere, whether we understand it or not, whether we've, expressed it or not. Reality, suchness is still going on. So to see our life as alive, to see, all other beings, including other people, but also mountains and rivers, as living systems with a different kind of intelligence. This is something that a lot of Zen's images and stories talk about. Dogen talks about how uh, water looks differently to humans and to fish and to hungry ghosts and to dragons. So when Dongshan gave us this song of the Jewel Mirror Samadhi, there was a whole discourse. I talk about this in just this is it in Chinese Buddhism. This is in pre-Zen Chinese Buddhism, but it's also carried on in Zen about seeing how the world is alive and how the world is Buddha nature. Um, Buddha nature is not just something that some people, have some part of. Buddha nature is, this was part of how uh, Buddhist teaching evolved in East Asia. And one difference between Indo-Tibetan Buddhism and East Asian Buddhism is that plants are seen as sentient beings in East Asia, or at least in some of East Asian Buddhism, as opposed to only animals. So the nature of reality itself, so in Dogen's Buddha Nature essay, he talks about this, that the nature of reality itself is awakening. Sometimes it's hard to see. Sometimes it gets covered over by all the difficulties of the world, but we can settle back down into upright sitting and connect with it. And then how do we take care of it? How do we preserve it well? So I don't know how much time we have. I can keep babbling, but we may be coming near the end. Maybe we'll have to go off to dinner or something. Um, but just again, to come back to the heart of this wonderful song about the jewel mirror awareness or samadhi. There's some things in the chat I'll have to look later. Anyway, the Dharma of suchness, of ta-ta-ta, is intimately conveyed by Buddhists and ancestors. That is what Buddhists and ancestors have shared with us. And now we have it. How do we take care of it? And then it is like facing a jeweled mirror, Dongshan said, as he looked into his own reflection in the running stream. You are not it, but actually it is you. So this limited egoistic self that we try and see the world in terms of it, that's not it. But the wholeness of everything actually includes us. We are part of that. So thank you, Roshi Joan, for this wonderful opportunity to talk about the wonderful Jewel Mirror Samadhi song. And thank you, Wendy. And I saw a number of other folks who, old friends I know. So please take care of yourselves and take care of this wonderful teaching and this wonderful reality of just this. Please continue. It's very important. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much.
I don't know if you do some closing chant or whatever,
Do.
but